PowerPoint. And I think we can get things going whenever you're ready, Kathy.
Yeah, so good afternoon. My name's Kathy Emro. I haven't met all of you yet. I head up marketing, and thanks in advance for your time. We're going to walk you through the Q4 marketing plan for cloud communications. I think you'll find it's a pretty robust plan. We've got a lot of critical assets that we've created and some additional ones that are in the works for your use as you go to market, and for our use as we develop and implement marketing programs. We also have a very robust marketing initiative that supports this launch, which we will get into when we move this along. But hopefully, I think you'll find that it's a pretty thought through and well-designed program that should facilitate your efforts in bringing it to market. So with that, I'll kick it off to Chris, who'll walk you through it and get going.
Awesome. Thanks, Kathy. Yeah, guys. So I feel like it was just a week ago that we were talking about the last big kickoff here, but definitely excited about what we've put together in Q4 with a big focus on communication, specifically what we're doing with cloud communications. And as you all know, I typically spend my time with the cloud COE, but over the last 3 months or so, I've been more and more involved with the communications side of our business and what we do on the communication COE. And I've got to say, we've got an incredible story to tell there with communications, and we've got really talented folks that are dedicated. They have the experience, and I think that we should have confidence there. And before I move on, I do want to just extend a very sincere thank you to Matt Campbell and Otto on the communications COE for their involvement in this rollout. And they've really gone above and beyond in helping me get caught up to speed as well as the rest of the marketing team and our capabilities, and really making sure that we bring these two new offerings we're going to be talking about today with the strongest possible go-to-market. So again, huge thank you specifically to Matt and Otto on that. But we've got quite a bit to cover, so I'll probably move quickly, hopefully not too quickly. Don't feel free to chime in and if you have any questions, but did want to open up with some big key takeaways. As we've worked through this process as a marketing team, there's some big things, we kind of wanted to reiterate to the folks out there in the sales field. And number one is that customers are frustrated with legacy communication solutions. And we've got some specific data we'll be pointing back to as we move through the presentation today, but they're turning to the cloud, right? They're turning to the cloud to help solve some of this frustration, to help simplify what they're doing on the communication side of their business. And it creates a great opportunity for us, especially with our new offerings and capabilities and our deep legacy with communications. So that moves right into that second point. Intervision is equipped to win and to win big and to serve these clients and create a happy customer as well. And we'll point to some specific cases of that in recent history where we've won even in very, very competitive markets. And these communication deals can be very, very sizable with big paychecks at the end of them. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, but we are capable of winning and winning big and serving clients and having them be very happy at the end result. And finally, we talked about this a little bit when I kicked off the last big marketing push in Q3, but at the end of the day here, guys, what we're trying to get across the board here is that our success is your success. And in Q3, we tried to do a little bit of work where we were kind of sharing some goals and things like that. And Kathy and the rest of the team, we decided, in Q4, really marketing is going to take on trying to build pipeline for the team here. And we have created several assets for you. We will be providing that air coverage, and you can grab onto any of these assets at any time in your sales process. But really what we're trying to do is help build pipeline for you and make it easier to sell if and when you come across opportunities that are relevant to cloud communications. So again, our success is your success. So here, first thing I wanted to talk about as far as this campaign is what's the overarching theme. So we've got two exciting new cloud communication offerings that I'll touch on, and Matt will actually be joining the conversation to go into more detail around. But at the end of the day, based on all of our research and the work that we've done preparing this campaign, we're very particular about the word choices we've used here. Is we're trying to help organizations simplify their communications, reduce cost, and improve their end user experience. End user can be their agents, it can be their employees, and it can be their customers ultimately. And we are a dedicated cloud partner backed by decades of experience designing, building, and operating communication solutions. So again, leaning on our legacy with what we've done in communications and taking that forward with our cloud capabilities. So we do have two new exciting offerings that we're going to be talking more about. There have been kickoffs for these, and there is training available that is available on the Intervision Academy for both of these as well. But Matt's going to do a high-level review of what these services are and aren't and good positioning for them. But the two new services we're going to be focused most on for this campaign is Amazon Connect by Intervision, which is really designed to deliver a better end-user customer experience through a 100% cloud-based platform that can dramatically reduce costs versus legacy on-premise contact center solutions. They've touted up to 80% savings, and there is a total cost of ownership analysis by Forrester that backs that up as well. That's also available in your sales assets that you can dig into if you want to learn more about that. And then the other big solution that we're pushing in Q4 is Managed 8x8, which is really more of a unified communications platform, cloud-based, that's also designed to help reduce complexity, simplify the end user experience, and also reduce costs through from the total cost of ownership through a pay-as-you-go model. So two services, again, Matt will dive into more, but the overarching message here is that we're here to help organizations simplify what they're doing to communicate in communications, save money, and improve their end user experience. So target buyers and challenges. We've gone another layer deeper on the next slide here that talks specifically about the verticals that marketing is going to be targeting and why. But really at the highest level, we're going after our sweet spot, companies with 250 to 5,000 employees. We're looking at the head of the contact center, the C-suite in the IT team, the director of the IT team, and then down to that IT systems manager. And the pain points that we're really going after is based on those frustrations I talked about earlier. You know, legacy solutions are expensive, they're complex. You know, the customer service isn't always what folks are expecting. You know, it's the poor vendor relationships, outages, just the frustrations of having to manage an on-premise solution, more traditional contact center, communication center solution. And the integration of all that is really where we're going to be focusing in terms of our messaging and how we can help simplify through these cloud offerings that Intervision has. And to take it a little bit further than we did in Q3, we really started to look at, as a marketing team, where we were going to focus in terms of industries based on the insights that we gleaned from our partners at 8x8 and AWS, as well as where we've seen some early traction for these offerings. So we're going to go after retail. And that's really because user experience is absolutely essential in retail, as well as reducing cost. Everything's measured by essentially cost per square foot and how much revenue organizations are driving. And we're really going to hone in on how Amazon Connect can help improve that end user experience, create differentiation in the retail space for that customer, and reduce their total cost of ownership. Then we're going to be going after financial services, specifically banking. There's a lot of factors at play here, but banks are being put under, you know, even more scrutiny from their clients, from their customers on their customer experience. And we have some use cases that are starting to bubble up right now in that space for both Managed 8x8 and Connect. We're going to be focusing on that as well as the compliance requirements that banking has. Also, healthcare is a big opportunity for us. I know there's several communication opportunities in the healthcare space right now that have come up in the last 90 days or so. And really, we're going to focus on the pressure to improve that patient experience and lower agent costs. So specifically, you know, the time that some of their most expensive folks are their agents, and reducing the cost there of how long they have to spend, you know, dealing with their clients and allowing them to do more through automation, AI, and so on. And then finally, as many of you guys know, we did win the CalNet contract in California months ago, and we're really going to be pushing into state and local government in Q4 for our Connect capabilities as it ties back to what we're doing with CalNet. So I want to give a little bit of an overview of where we're going to be focusing. And moving on to where we're going to be measured is really based on our ability to attract new leads and market to those leads, but then also move them along the funnel for you guys to engage in opportunities. So we are committed to 200 net new leads from this campaign specifically in Q4. We're also looking to drum up 20 cloud communications, specifically sales meetings. So 20 meetings that are verified with a sales rep specifically on this subject that were sourced from marketing. And then finally, we want to see 5 opportunities result from those efforts yet in Q4. Now, this will be an ongoing campaign for us, so we expect to see more opportunities into Q1 2022 and so on. But for now, we're really focusing on what we're trying to solve for in Q4. So why now? And there's a lot of factors we could point back to, and it really has a lot to do with where the market's going and our ability to serve that market. You know, the big story here is that more and more organizations are closing their traditional data centers, and the contact center, the communications side of their business is a big part of that. And by 2024, 74% of unified communication licenses will be cloud-based, right? So this is, again, you know, the same story that we've heard around what we're doing in application migration, for example. This is just another use case where the cloud is an ongoing focus area, and the organizations are moving to the cloud. And really, you know, these slides will be available for you, but really it just speaks more to some of those frustrations and challenges that organizations are having with their traditional contact center. The difficulty in managing things are slow and complicated and expensive. Lack of integration with their other platforms, right? Lack of analytics, being able to have clear insights to, you know, who's calling in, how long are calls taking, how are their agents performing, so on and so forth. And, you know, when there's an outage and you have an on-premise communications solution, you've got nowhere to go, right? Unless you have a really great redundancy and resiliency strategy. So more and more organizations are looking to the cloud to solve for some of these challenges that they're having. This is something I did want to focus specifically on. Daniel Lascelles on the marketing team, we work closely with an organization called Pulse, and Pulse runs surveys specifically targeting IT leaders in the verticals that we're most focused on. And we just recently ran a survey. You'll be seeing some resources come out on our findings from this survey in probably the next few weeks. But we gleaned some insights from these surveys, and we went after, it was 100 C-suite IT leaders, and had questions specifically around what they're doing in communications, where their heads are, where they're moving to. And some of the resources that we found is that companies really want customized solutions that are right-sized to their business. They're really looking at ease of use. So that's, again, why we're focusing on simplifying what we're doing with communications and in our offerings. The budgeting is a big pain point for them. Their third-party support not meeting their expectation, aging infrastructure, right? These things are all pointing back to what we can do in the cloud. And organizations are looking for best-in-class solutions, right? And that's why, you know, Matt's going to be talking about our portfolio of communications offerings, but, you know, we're not just exclusively AWS here. We're not just exclusively 8x8. We're not just exclusively Cisco. We're all those things. And we can really build best-of-breed solutions for our customers by combining our capabilities in our portfolio. So one of the things that we've got as a marketing team as a challenge, and as a sales organization as a challenge, is that many organizations today, based on the survey, feel like they're spending the right amount on their communications. So because we can perform total cost of ownership analysis, that might be a good way to get the conversation started on, can you be saving money? Can you be doing more with less budget, right? Can you be expanding what you're doing by rethinking what you're doing in communications? So a lot of our messaging will be focused around that. But that was one of the things that we saw in the survey that we were a little surprised by, is that many organizations, you know, don't think they're overspending right now with what they're doing with communications, but we can come in with our total cost of ownership analysis and really help point out how they could potentially be saving money. And that's an opportunity that both marketing and sales should be thinking about. So I'm not going to spend much time on these because I think we've all heard some of this messaging before, but at the end of the day, we do have a deep legacy in communications, right? It's undeniable. 20 plus experience, 20 plus years of experience here, designing, building, operating communication platforms. We should have confidence in leaning in on that. You know, I know our partners at AWS, they see us as a leader in communications, and they've really pushed on us with what they're doing with Connect, because they said, you know, if you guys marry your expertise in communications with what we're doing with Connect, they see it as a big opportunity for us to grow together. And we have that deep expertise in not only cloud-based, but also hardware, right? It's the hybrid story that we tell as it's related to what we're doing in cloud, for example, is that we can come in and really assess the situation from what they're doing on premise and what they want to do in the cloud, and really bring the best of both worlds to the table to create a solution that's meeting their goals. And, you know, hundreds of deployments, a proven ability to really execute and deliver on this stuff, which we can point back to case studies, we can point back to use cases, and we've got quite a bit to be proud of in the communication space specifically. And then there's our differentiation, right, in the communication space, our professional services, our managed services, the fact that it's our 24/7, 365 knock and sock, the fact that we are a CLEC, right? That's another differentiator for us. Our ability to be flexible and customize what we're doing for our clients is a point of differentiation, and I would not shy away from leaning in on that, because that's certainly something on the marketing side we're going to be leaning into, is just our legacy in communications and our differentiation in communications specifically. And again, you know, I can't thank Brian Sellers enough. He took a call from me last week, and we chatted about some huge wins he's had in the last year around communications. And with automotive APC, Automotive Technologies, you can see it was $194K gross profit, 5-year deal. The company wanted out of managing their communications platform, right? They wanted to turn it over to a provider they could trust. And Brian had been working with them and had that conversation, was able to move that across the finish line. And then CarShield is one that's just kind of mind-blowing, right? Extremely competitive. We had Cisco, several other competitors in that. I don't have access to my notes, unfortunately, or I'd be rattling those off. Brian might want to chime in, but at the end of the day, even a very competitive offering or a very competitive situation, we were able to win and win big. I mean, you can see the numbers here, right? 94K MRR, gross margin 1.5, right? So again, you know, I know that sometimes it's like, the question is, you know, can we make money specifically with these solutions and services? And the answer is absolutely yes. And we can win in deeply competitive environments because of the expertise we have, because of the folks we can bring to the table, and because of the range of what we can do on the communications side. So, and that's reflected in, you know, we have a very wide range of clients specifically that look to us and trust us for our communications capabilities. So, you know, I hope that you guys see that the timing is really great on this, right? We've got AWS as a partner really looking to us to take Connect for them and help them get it out into market. 8x8 is seeing us as a leader in the space, and that, you know, we're doing a managed 8x8 offering for them. We've got the background, we've got the expertise, and more importantly, the market is moving in this direction, right? So we can meet them where they are, get them onto this, you know, these cloud platforms for the communications, and really, as you've seen in that last slide, right? Probably most importantly for the sales team is we can win. We can win in a very, very real way. So with all that said, I'm going to turn things over to Matt Campbell, who myself and many folks on the marketing team have been asking millions of questions of, but he's going to talk a little bit about our product portfolio and how these two new offerings fit into our overarching communications capabilities.
Thanks, Chris. Hi, everyone. So just wanted to kind of overview all the different products that we have, and the ones on the left, Cisco and hosted collaboration, are ones that we've had since 2006 or 7 or something along those lines. So something that we have been offering and selling for a long time. But that's typically more on the on-premise side of things or in the Ivy hosted side of things. So hosted collaboration, we're hosting within our data center and providing as a service for our customers. We're going to focus on the right side of this diagram here today for the most part, because this marketing push is all in our cloud delivered calling solutions. And so as Chris mentioned, we have 8x8, we have Amazon Connect. We also have Cisco's WebEx calling and WebEx Contact Center as well. Going back to the CarShield example, WebEx Contact Center was the contact center that was used for them. So that's the primary solution there, with the calling piece being our hosted collaboration solution. All right, Chris, if you could, well, before I move on here, we've got the difference between calling and contact center. So just briefly, the calling solution or the unified communication solution is your telephony, your phone system, so to speak. It also is video conferencing, team chat, fax, SMS, things of that nature. Where contact center is your call center, right? So you call your utility company, your bank, your mortgage company, you get a phone system that routes your call to an agent, right? So that's a call center. And so Amazon Connect, 8x8, and Cisco WebEx Contact Center are all in that realm. And Amazon Connect specifically only is in that realm. It does not have an offering in the calling area. So I think that's key to understand. A lot of people, when they first hear about Connect, think that it's a phone system. It's not. It's a call center or a contact center solution. Okay, Chris, if you go ahead, next slide, please. So this is a table that we put together that this, it's not a rule of thumb by any means, but it's just kind of a guideline as to how we tend to position the products. And I've heard over and over again from both customers and from you guys on the sales team that customers tend to either be pro Cisco or no Cisco. They don't want anything to do with it. So that I find kind of dictates largely whether we go one direction or another, and also what their existing solution is. So if they currently have a Cisco solution, we're probably going to go with a Cisco solution on the cloud side of things. It depends, obviously. If they don't, and they're opposed to Cisco, which many are, we're going to go with 8x8 for the calling, and Amazon Connect kind of fits into both realms depending on the complexity of the contact center, and also how large the customer is in a lot of ways. So I won't focus too much on this, but there's a whole presentation that includes this deck and a lot of other more intricate details on all these things. Hit me up if you'd like to see that. Chris, if you could advance the next slide, please. All right, so this is kind of a high-level overview of Amazon Connect, right? So again, contact center, call center, lots of different components all wrapped into one piece. Speech recognition is a huge, and AI is a huge piece of this. So if you guys think about your Alexa or your Google Home device that you have at home, that technology, specifically Alexa, since this is Amazon, is baked into here, right? So they're using that speech recognition, that AI, that ML technology to act as a virtual agent. And the key there is that it enables companies to offload their human resources, their agents, to AI to help customers meet their needs through self-service portals and things of that nature, right? So you can actually have a conversation with Alexa, so to speak, and do things like pay bill, book a flight, things of that nature. Of course, you can always get a live human if you want to, but one of the benefits for your customers, for the business, is that you have often less human agents involved in a call center than you would with other traditional solutions. Anyhow, Chris, if you could go on to the next slide, please. Okay, so here's some of the overall benefits. Very scalable, very elastic. So a lot of companies, they'll ramp up their call centers for the holiday season, for Christmas, right? So they might triple, who knows what, the amount of call volume that they receive during that time of year. And then once Christmas is over, it scales down pretty quickly, and they don't need as many people. So this solution enables them to scale up and scale down very quickly. And the way that it's billed or paid for is usage based. So you pay for what you use during a given month. So that's a very different model than what the competitive solutions are out there. Most of the other solutions are on a per seat or a per agent basis. This is on purely on usage, like how many minutes are your folks using it. Another big benefit here is the ability to work from anywhere, right? So all you need is a web browser, Chrome, Firefox, something of that nature, to be able to have an agent log in and begin taking calls for your company. So previously, contact centers, call centers would be a large room full of agents and cubicles. You can often hear, other people talking in the background when you've called into these places. And with COVID especially, that whole dynamic has changed quite a bit. And now we're all working remotely from home, and a lot of contact centers with more traditional solutions have had issues getting agents connected that weren't in their building, so to speak. So big benefit there, very remote friendly. It includes a telephone bill, right? So you don't have a separate bill from your Verizon, your AT&T, things of that nature. It's all included. It's again by the minute, pay as you go. Very highly available, very redundant. So there's no issues with dealing with phone lines getting cut by the utility company outside with a backhoe accidentally, power going out, things of that nature. It's in AWS's infrastructure. It's around the world. It's very, very redundant. And then I mentioned a little bit about the AI ML components with Alexa, another big benefit there. And then, I guess the other obvious one here is, since it's cloud-based, there's no infrastructure for the company to maintain, patch, administer, have to, license, all that kind of stuff. It's all as a service. It's all included. Chris, next one, please. All right, so these are some stats from AWS. Just, generally, the point here is that you can save a lot of money compared to competitive solutions. And I guess one of the soft benefits that you don't maybe realize here is that while there's monetary savings from a money perspective, there's a huge soft benefit to customer experience. And sorry, was somebody asking a question? No. All right. So customer experience is a huge driver here as well, right? So your customers, your business's customers rather, their experience with the solution dictates how happy they are with a business, right? So there's a huge ability here for a company that maybe doesn't have the best customer service with their current solution to increase that and get better CSAT scores with their customers. And that is a key component to kind of realize when you're talking to the C-suite side of the buyers, as opposed to the managers of the IT department and the contact center, things like that. All right, next one. All right, so again, what does Intervision bring to the table here? Amazon Connect by itself is a great cloud infrastructure, just like all things AWS. It's basically the building blocks of a contact center, but it isn't an all-encompassing solution out of the box. Amazon will tell you that you can turn up a contact center in 5 minutes or something like that and begin taking calls. And yeah, that's true. You can buy a phone number and you can call that phone number and route it to someone in short period of time, but there's a whole lot more that goes into it, including integrating it with other business systems such as Salesforce or ServiceNow and things of that nature, tailoring it to whatever individual needs your customers might have. So we have that expertise to come in here, listen to our customers, what their needs are, determine what the best solution is, and then design that solution, implement that solution, and support that solution. So again, your customers can buy support from Amazon, but Amazon's not doing a number of things in their support offering that we are, right? We can offer a fully managed service, whereas they're just providing break-fix support for the most part. We can come in and do user administration, your MACDs, things of that nature. So again, just speaking to what Chris did before, we have a lot of experience in this world going back to 2006 or something of that nature. We have a lot of skilled folks that are certified in AWS and 8x8 and all the other solutions we're talking about. We have a lot of value add in our whole portfolio of complementary services, and I'll get into that a little bit on the 8x8 side where it's a little bit more relevant, such as SD-WAN, managed network, things of that nature. Okay, Chris, next one. This is kind of, I guess I was talking to this slide a little bit in the last one as well. So again, the benefits of what Intervision can provide when selling Amazon Connect compared to if they were buying it directly from AWS or perhaps another partner out there. Next slide. All right, so we have these little mini battle cards. It's obviously a bit wordy for a presentation. I do have one for all the different solutions we have: Cisco, Amazon Connect, 8x8, both in the calling and the contact center side. If anyone, I'll put them on the, I believe they're actually already on the sales play pages for the respective products. So if anybody wants these to look at them in more detail, let me know. Key takeaway here, the differentiator between this one and the other ones we'll talk about is really the pricing model being per minute and usage based versus per seat or per user. And again, the scalability to be able to scale up and down quickly. Okay, so the next product that we're focusing on this quarter is Managed 8x8. You guys have probably heard me talk about this one to nauseam in other meetings, but so this one also offers contact center such as Amazon Connect does, but its main and primary focus from our perspective is the calling side of things, right? So your unified communications, your telephony, your messaging, your meetings. These guys have data centers around the world, similar to AWS. They've got telephone numbers around the world. They've got support centers around the world. Again, cloud hosted, so all that scalability, all that disaster recovery, security, compliance, all that stuff all rolled in here. No infrastructure for your customers to have to maintain, no licensing, all that kind of stuff, right? But the key here is that this is an all-encompassing solution. So this has contact center and calling all in one platform. Amazon Connect was just contact center without any of this other stuff. So this one really kind of does it all. Next slide. I think you missed one perhaps. Oh, you know what?
Sorry, yeah,
It's hidden in the deck. It's okay.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right, so the missing slide was just showing the integration between contact center and calling in one platform, as opposed to two separate platforms, which is what you'll get with a lot of the other solutions out there, right? So you've got your calling platform, might be one vendor. You got your contact center solution, might be another vendor. The key here is that it's all one vendor, it's all one platform, very integrated, very simple from that perspective. And this is a key differentiator for 8x8 that I think is very important, because I'm sure you guys that have been out there selling this stuff have run into a lot of customers looking to use MS Teams as their solution for collaboration. And what MS Teams doesn't provide, I mean, it does, but out of the box by default, it doesn't provide calling, right? So you've got meetings, you've got video conferencing, all that stuff for your internal organization, but you can't call an external number by default. And Microsoft does offer calling plans that enable that functionality, but they are, I wouldn't call it a full-fledged phone system or PBX system compared to others that are out there. So 8x8 has a nice little integration that's very seamless with Microsoft. They're partnered with each other, and you can basically take 8x8, integrate it with MS Teams, and then your customers can use MS Teams for their calling, for their voicemail, for their faxing, for their texting, all that stuff, all within the native Teams app without using the 8x8 app whatsoever. So that if they like the MS Teams interface, if that's what they're glued to, this is a way to enable calling and enable calling in a way that is more cost effective and more feature rich than what Microsoft has to offer, especially when you come into, if you've got customers that have overseas locations, they have 8x8 shines in the global calling platform compared to Microsoft by far. Also, 8x8 is all unlimited calling within the United States and in Europe and other places as well, whereas Microsoft's has a cap on the number of minutes each user can use. So anyway, if you've got customers out there that are glued to Microsoft Teams, keep this in mind as a solution that enables them to bring that calling piece in here. And it's also, I guess, important to point out that customers don't have to just use Teams. They could have a certain subset of users on Teams, and they could have another subset of users using the 8x8 app, either on their PC, their mobile device, web browser, etc. Okay, next one. All right, so again, 8x8, they used to sell direct to customers. Now they moved to a partner model, right? And so we are one of the first of a particular type of partner with them, which is a VAR partner, which means that we are basically buying 8x8 at wholesale from 8x8. And we are taking care of all the stuff that's on the screen here. We are doing solution demos. We are doing the sales process, proof of concepts. We are doing the design and the implementation professional services. They will get a bill from us every month as opposed to from 8x8. So it's an Intervision bill every month for their phone bill for the service. We're doing, the support. So we have our operations center fully trained, certified, both in the United States and in our overnight data center in India for this solution. We are also going above and beyond what 8x8 can offer and support with regard to the MACDs, user administration tasks, things that others do not do that we do. And I kind of touched on this before, but also we have a lot of complementary services. We can go into customers' network environment. We can do a network assessment. We can make sure that their firewalls, their switches, their routers are all configured correctly. And you got QoS, you got firewall rules. It's all very important to making sure you've got a good solution that works the way it's supposed to. A lot of other providers out there, partners out there, including 8x8 themselves when they were selling it, and the vast majority of partners out there who are just reselling 8x8 and not really getting involved. They're just collecting they're an agency model, right? Agency partner that just gets a commission for reselling it. They're not doing this stuff. So this is a big ploy for us. We can get in there. We can make sure the network's done correctly. We can sell managed network support. We can sell SD-WAN to carry this stuff. Just keep all that in mind. Next slide. Okay, again, one of these battle cards. I'm not going to get into too much detail here. This one is priced per seat or per agent as opposed to usage-based like Amazon Connect. Very remote friendly, very COVID work from home friendly. Very all-encompassing regarding all the features. It's really the most comprehensive and encompassing solution that I've kind of come across with regard to just having all the features, bells and whistles all in one spot. And with that, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to hit me up. I'm always here for you guys. I'm also backing up Mark Nye now that Juan's not with us anymore. As well as Otto is as well. We're both doing pre-sales related activities. If you guys need any help with solutioning, pricing, demos, you name it, I'm here to help along with the rest of the team. All right, thank you.
Matt, thanks for that. Really appreciate it. I'm so glad we could have Matt join us for this conversation today. I thought it was good to hear how these pieces of the puzzle fit together as part of our larger portfolio. And as he pointed to, there are some great resources available on the SalesPlay pages on the intranet that you can link out to all the resources. And I'll touch more on that. But now I'm going to turn things over to my fellow marketing team to talk a little bit more about the specifics of what we're going to be doing as part of this campaign to hit those goals we touched on earlier.
Well, thank you, Chris. And I want to thank Matt and Otto. Your time, your thought leadership there, just your expertise has been amazing. We have been in a state of a lot of transition. The marketing team as a whole has pulled together, and we have some lofty goals, right? As Chris identified, that we have 200 net new leads that we're working to obtain this quarter through the cloud communications campaigns. So what we've done is I've outlined on the right, I'm going to go right to left this time to switch things up, but there are a lot of activities planned, and these are just general categories of marketing activities that we intend to do. And you'll see SEO at the top. SEO and that awareness bucket in the journey is really key. We have really sold hosted collab and unified communications in the central area. And we knew it because we were able to do it. We knew it like the back of your hand, and we had a whole set of experts that were there. Transferring that knowledge into blogs, into pieces that generate awareness, that lets the rest of the country know what we're capable of doing is really, really key. If you caught Sam's post this morning through the Harvard Business Review, it really talks about awareness, right? Get the awareness out there, get educated. What's the difference between UCaaS? What's the difference between CCaaS? What does that really mean? What's a contact center versus a call center? Being able to meet the client there. And as we look at this, we have paid advertising that we're going to go through. We have retargeting ads, leveraging that 6 Sense data that we have. We have a marketing ecosystem like none other. We have leadership now, we have resources, where this is the first time we're pulling all of that together. We have some of our tried and true things also. So we have new podcasts that are coming out. We have syndicated content that Chet's going to talk about. His team has expanded. The content team has expanded. We have content writers writing literally almost around the clock, getting ready for this to make sure that when people are out searching for unified communications, for contact center, that we pop up. And that is a tall order. I was excited that just our first week of effort, we are already landing some content in the top 10 Google pages. So we're making strides. It is not easy. It really takes the entire organization. So when we go out and we drop social posts and we're using this pulse study, when we're leveraging the social cards, share them, pick them up, use them, reach out. Communication works when it's bidirectional. Otherwise, it's just a broadcast. So we don't necessarily want to be broadcasting, but we really want to be communicating with our clients and our prospects too. So I'm not going to read because I'll stutter through all of that. Chris, hit me with the next slide, please. This is the fun part. Is to translate some of these complex concepts, to slow the scroll, to grab attention, to really highlight who is InterVision. We are experts, right? We want to be able to connect you. Yes, there is an intended pun. It is transformative. Wait till you see Mark Nye in his Superman costume at the Solutions Showcase on Thursday. Stop by, right? We are and intend to be the red phone, right? We're the experts. Call us. We can help you. We'll get you started. We will simplify. We will provide a greater customer end user experience, keeping retention levels high in this crazy time, keeping customer satisfaction high in this crazy time, while at the same time managing the costs. So that's really key. And this is just a little flavor of what's to come. But when you see these, make sure you share, make sure you like, make sure you start a conversation bi-directionally. As Megan said, don't just wave across the room, make sure that you engage and have those great conversations. So as the world is opening up a little bit at a time, we do have field events and activities planned. So I want to highlight what's happening this week. Michael is all out with the solution showcase. The communications COE will have a whole sponsorship. Get involved, ask questions. Mark is going to be there. Like I said, he's there to answer questions. There'll be a number of other people that are there too. The site conference is public sector. It is education focused, and it's in California. It's in November. Dustin is going to be there, sharing the cloud success stories. Connect has a play in that as well for us. The CalNet portal is definitely a highlight also for categories 27 and 28. And I'll leave that to you guys to go search and find out what that is. I think it's important that you hit the web and also get educated. build your confidence in what we have to sell, and we're right there behind you. And then the Cloud Strategy Summit, we do have a date. Save the date is December 2nd. And we will be highlighting lots of nuggets across the whole year for cloud-focused activities. And so with that, I'm going to introduce Chet Gadavi. He is relatively new to the team. He is our Director of Demand Gen. And I'm going to say, take it away, Chet.
Thanks, Jennifer. So yeah, appreciate the breadth of activity that we've got going on to really support demand gen. Really a multi-channeled approach. Just touching on the last slide with the event this week at Solution Showcase, just to note that we've got some BDR representation there. So Janie DeSanto and a recent new hiree, Molly Farrell, will also be joining as well. So I think it'll be great for them to get some face time with the internal team and external team as well. Looking at some of the sales enablement and demand gen activity, on the BDR side as well as to support sales. We have a sales loft cadence. I took some feedback from the last one, which is less is more in terms of the number of touch points that we have. So really try to boil down our value across the various solutions and expertise that we have through 6 emails, several calls, as well as some gifting plays as well. Definitely, anybody who wants access to the emails can get them through SalesLoft if they have a license. Outside of that, the email scripts are also available on the sales assets page and uploaded there by Ron Schmidt. So appreciate that, Ron. Looking at the next slide, please, Chris. A couple of key additions to this. So really trying to drive appointments through the BDR function through sales as well. But to support that and supplement that to meet those goals that we're striving for, we have a partner appointment setting program with Cascade. Really, the focus there is AWS Connect with the geographical focus in our core states, as well as the rest of the US as well. Target titles, we talked about, those really interested, key decision makers, influences on the communication side. And then the other partner program that we're running is with TechTarget. This isn't a guaranteed appointment program, but what it is a program that surfaces to us those leads that meet our target profile in this segment with a confirmed project within the next 12 months. So I think that will help with the quality of leads that the BDR team and you're dealing with as well. So yeah, no other comments here, Chris, but yeah, feel free to Slack me or email call if you guys have questions.
Thanks for that, Chet. Another key piece that I wanted to highlight here for the team is, different ways that you can start a conversation or get things rolling with the prospective client. And one of the elements that was put together for the sales team specifically that I'm particularly excited about is this no-cost proof of concept offer. Now, there are some terms and conditions which are outlined on the offer itself, but what we're looking to do here is essentially define 2 hyper-relevant use cases for the client.
Sorry, I had
Sorry.
Call and
somebody needs to go on mute. Sorry. But what we'll do in this process is come in with the client, define their most critical use cases, articulate how Amazon Connect can help solve for those use cases, demonstrate how they can save money with Connect versus what they're doing today through a TCO analysis, and then actually deliver a proof of concept for that customer that demonstrates the capability to deliver on those important use cases without the customer having to spend a dime. So this is an investment that InterVision's making to help streamline the process for you as a sales person, but also to give you a competitive advantage if there's another potential competitor in there that maybe doesn't have this kind of approach. And it's my understanding, Matt, that although we don't have a document that summarizes what we do with the proof of concept for 8x8, that we can do a very similar process as well. So, it don't feel like it's restricted specifically to Connect, but we do have this packaged offering that is going to be offered, at no cost to qualified clients to help open the door for you in these conversations. And one of the exciting things I'll highlight is that I know that Sandy Quinn just recently wrapped up a proof of concept with St. Louis Zoo, and it's my understanding that they're happy. I need to double check with Sandy because this is very, very recent. But this is something that we are already doing, right? So it's just the packaging and making it a little easier to give you guys a document that you can hand over to a client and start that dialogue with them on this proof of concept.
And Chris, just to jump in.
Sorry, go ahead, Kathy.
Oh, sorry, this is Sandy. I was going to say,
No,
just
Sandy.
to jump in, the POC was very, very simple. It's still going on today, but they're very happy with it. Made a few more changes, and they're going to test it for a few more weeks. But yes, it's going very well.
That's so great to hear. That's awesome. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I was just going to say that the proof of concept, the concept of the proof of concept is a good one with regard to sales technique. I think you try before you buy, right? So Amazon has been pushing this pretty hard because they've seen a tremendous amount of success with partners such as us offering POCs to the customers. Once a customer tries this and realizes how great it is, they're much more likely to buy it than if they haven't, and it's just all hearsay, so to speak. So definitely leverage the POC, and yeah, we can do them for 8x8 as well, and we have done a few with 8x8 actually as well. So all good. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Matt. So one of the things that we talked about is that, marketing and product have put together a lot of resources for the sales team. And it's like, where does all this stuff live, right? And we're really trying to move forward with this sales play approach, is having everything bundled up on the sales intranet for you guys. So if you go to the intranet and search sales play, you'll see the list of available sales plays pop up. But for Amazon Connect and Managed 8x8, we do have new sales play service pages, and that has your first call decks, your service briefs, your competitive positioning, the same kind of detail you saw on those battle cards that Matt shared, but then even more context for you guys. So, I mean, I think that, if you want to get that baseline understanding of what the service is and isn't, I would start there. And then if you need the resources, if you want to go out and have a dialogue with one of your customers or clients, if it's not there on that sales play page, let us know and we'll make sure that it gets added. But I'm pretty sure you'll be surprised to see, or at least you'll be glad to see, sort of the depth and breadth of the information that's provided on that sales play page for both Amazon Connect and Managed 8x8. So that pretty much takes me to the end of the conversation here. I just want to really quickly revisit these big takeaways. This is, as the marketing team, as we looked at what we're trying to do here, and all the conversations and dialogues we've had with the research and with Matt and the team there on the communications COE, is that this is a real opportunity for us. Customers are looking for these to make this transition to cloud. So I would be thinking about, which clients do you have right now that they're on a license refresh, or their infrastructure is aging, right, with their communications platform. Like, start that dialogue. Where are you guys going? And if they've got a cloud first strategy, there's a good chance we have a solution that aligns with what they're trying to do. So if you have customers right now that are doing on-premise, you could maybe try to renew that, but maybe get ahead of the game and start the conversation around what they're doing going forward, what their strategy is. So start those conversations, get engaged. And again, I think those two crazy, awesome wins from Brian are just an example. They're just the tip of the iceberg of what we're doing on the communication side of our business. We've got case studies on the website. We've got lots of win stories and use cases on the sales intranet, but we are equipped to win and provide great service for our clients as it relates to cloud communications. And, just the last point I'll make is that we launched the Q3 play that was really focused on DRaaS. We blew out our top of the funnel number on leads. I think we almost doubled it in terms of our goal. We've got 8 opportunities. I believe the opportunity goal was 10 by the end of the year. So we're on track to hit that. So I just want everyone to know that we're going to continue that momentum moving, right? And keep that happening. And then we're going to augment what we're doing with the communications play as well. So these are ongoing activities, right? It's not like we're just going to turn the faucet off on what we were doing with disaster recovery. But, we've got these 2 great solutions on the communication side, and we've got a great story with our communications portfolio, and marketing's really going to focus on that in Q4. So thanks so much, guys, for the time.
Chris, hang on. Chris,
Yeah.
Can you pull up the roadmap?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's the last slide here.
And the reason I want to show this to the team, and I don't expect you guys to be able to read it, but this just shows a snapshot of all the different activities that marketing is doing. We have goals assigned to each one, so we're measured against each tactic that we're doing. And it's a continuity effort for the remainder of the quarter and will carry into next year. So again, it's not for you guys to have to digest and read, but just so that you get a visual representation of the full landscape of activity that we have to support this initiative. And that's why your support and partnering with us to get this to land and get some opportunities in market is really critical. So with that, I think we can turn it over to Q&A.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kathy. Any questions from the team here?
Hey, Chris, this is Jamie. So what are the personas, right, that you guys would be going looking out? If you're calling out a data center client and there's a cloud element here for AWS Connect, you know, what's your recommendation, or maybe, you know, Matt, on where we should be going and looking and that persona that we're going after?
Well, we have, on the marketing side, we have stories aligned by sort of at the executive level. It really is about improving that customer experience, reducing total cost of ownership, sort of simplifying how, in all honesty, how big of a team they need to manage this stuff. At the more of the IT team level, the folks who are responsible for the day-to-day sort of communication operations, we're leaning in on the simplify story, right? Make it easier for them to you know, get this off their plate essentially, and also be able to reduce the cost, right? I think that the cost is that through line that goes to the C-suite all the way down in terms of the opportunity. So we have sort of communicate the messaging aligned by sort of who we were going after from a targeting perspective. But your question might be more, Jamie, around like who are the targets for these individual services, maybe?
Yeah, I'm just, you know, just Connect has elements of it, right? Of the telecom side, there's obviously the IT side, there's the cloud side. So just was looking for some guidance to kind of, you know, make sure we're pointing the teams in the right way so that they're specifically going. I mean, obviously if they can get to a CIO or an executive, that's awesome. But if they weren't able to get to them, who would be that target market that they should be going after around, especially around Amazon Connect?
Yeah, I mean, I think the important thing to realize with Amazon Connect, because it's contact center, is that larger orgs are often going to have that be on a you know, customer experience or customer service even, because, you know, a lot of it is, depending on the company, handled outside of even the IT, you know, the typical IT managers. A number of companies we run into have one set of folks doing the phone system piece and another set of folks, you know, managing and approving the budgets and the purchasing for contact center. So it kind of depends on the org, kind of depends on the size of the org, but larger ones will often have them segregated. And, you know, if there's like a customer experience, a VP of customer experience, or, you know, something of that nature at the company, that would be a good persona to hit for contact center.
Cool. Okay. Just wanted to make sure we were kind of guiding in the right direction. Obviously, as with all our solutions, we tailor them to our sweet spot of our clients, right? And our sweet spot is usually, you know, 250 to 5,000 employees. That's a rough way to look at it. So same thing, you know, when we call in the right spots, we have much more success than we go into larger organizations. They typically have, you know, kind of bifurcated departments that are covering this. So that's important for the sales org to make sure that they're looking at the right clients and targeting them, and the sweet spot plays into that for these solutions really well.
Yeah, and a lot of that stuff is laid out in those sales play pages that Chris was showing on the last slide there. So, you know, target buyers, personas, all that stuff, client profiles. I've tried to put a lot of that info in there. So take a look at that.
Yeah, I would say that you know, that is a great starting point for sure. And I think that if you find on those pages that you're not getting the level of detail that you're expecting, which I think you will on those sales play pages specifically, because it does go into some pretty specific detail, you know, let us know. And I think between Matt, myself, and our team, we can give even more guidance. But we've got our targets from the marketing side in terms of by vertical, who we're going after, which I talked about a little bit at a high level. And really that was just based on input from where we're seeing some early traction, what we were hearing from AWS and 8x8 as well. But yeah, as far as the actual targets from the sales perspective, it's pretty well laid out in the sales play pages. All right, guys. Well, we're over time, and I know there's lots of other meetings here. So really, sincerely, thanks to everyone who joined. And this session will be recorded. We'll try to get the recording out to the team. But really appreciate your time, and good luck out there. Happy selling, and you'll definitely have marketing support on this.
Take care, everyone.